Hi everyone, I'm Jameelah and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I am going to be sharing with you one of my family's favorite desserts. It is a recipe for strawberry cake with pecan crumble. This cake, my family they're just wild about this cake. It never lasts more than a day or two when I make it, so I'm sure that you're really going to enjoy this. Now, I'm going to be showing you step by step in stages how to create the cake. What I have in front of me here that you're seeing is the ingredients for the crust, and then after we do the crust, and then I'll show you how to do the batter and put the cake together and everything like that. But first, what you're going to need to make this cake is a springform pan. If you're not familiar with what this is, it has this buckle here because once you have all of your cake ingredients and everything in here and it sets, you just unbuckle it and spread it apart like that, and then you lift it up off the cake. And since this is a no-bake cake, it will need to set in the freezer for at least 8 hours to set, and then once it sets, then it can be taken out and kept in the refrigerator because it is raw vegan and you want to keep it in the refrigerator so it doesn't spoil. So the first step in making the cake is we need to grease our pan here. So I have a little bit of coconut oil and a paper towel. So what I do is dip the paper towel in the coconut oil, and then I'm going to grease the ring and just kind of rub it inside until you see that it's nice and coated. Now you need to do this because when you want to take the ring off, you don't want it to stick to your cake and then it'll tear your cake apart when you're trying to take the ring off. So you want to make sure that this is nice and lubed up, so to speak, so that when you remove the ring, it'll be clean and you won't have anything sticking to it to ruin your cake. Okay, so I have the ring done. And now I'm just going to grease up the base. Okay. And see, that's all nice and greased here. And now I'm going to put the pan back together, like so. I'm going to set this aside. And also, the coconut oil, don't need that anymore. So first step is we need to make the crust. For the crust of the cake, we need 2 cups of pecans, or pecans, depending on where you are in the world. 1 cup of unsoaked dates, and these happen to be medjool dates, but I'm pretty sure any date will do. Vanilla extract. You can also use vanilla bean if you don't like vanilla extract. And we're going to be using a pinch of Himalayan sea salt. And this entire cake is going to be made in the food processor here. So what we're going to do, first step, is we are going to put the cashews in the food processor. Well, actually, in the food processor, and then we're going to run this until you have a rough nut flour. You don't want it to be too fine, and I'll show you what I'm talking about when this is done. Okay, so it doesn't take very long. Now see if I can get that on here without it. Okay, so this is the consistency that I was talking about, where you want it to be rough, you don't want it to be fine. So now we're going to put in the dates. And a 1/4 teaspoon or a little less of the vanilla. And just like I said, just a little bit of the sea salt. Now we're going to process all of these together until it becomes like a crumble. You want it to be able to stick together. You don't want to let the processor run too much because you don't want your crumble to be gummy. And again, I'll give you a look at the texture that we're looking for when it's done. All right, let's go ahead and check our crust here. Okay, and now this is what you're going for. You want the dates to be not big chunks in your crumble. And also, as you can see, it sticks together. But it's not gummy and mushy, which it would be if you let your processor run too long. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take about half of the crumble and press it in the bottom of our cake pan for the crust. Okay, that looks to be about half. Okay, so what I like to do is just with this part of my hand, and I kind of cup my fingers like that and just press down on the crumble until you get a nice even layer, and it's all on all sides of your pan. I'm just going to take my fingertips and get it in the corners here. And just make sure you have it all even. And you want to make sure there's no holes. You have a nice even layer of the crust in the bottom of your pan. Just making sure that it's all around the edges here. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. And that's what it should look like pretty much. I'm going to go ahead and set this in the refrigerator, let it set while we make the rest of the cake, and I'll be right back. I am back after putting the crust of our cake in the refrigerator set while we continue with the filling of the cake. And I also took the other half of the crumble to set aside. That's going to go on top of the cake, and I'll show you that when we reach that step. So these are all the ingredients for the cake filling. I have here 1 cup of coconut cream, 2 cups of cashews that have not been soaked. This right here is the meat of 2 young Thai coconuts. Young Thai coconuts, they're not the brown mature coconuts. You want to get the coconuts that are white and they have like a triangle. They're cut with a triangle point. And when you pick your coconuts, you want to look on the bottom of the coconut, make sure that it's white and not pink. Because if it's a pinkish or purplish color, that means that that coconut is old and you shouldn't buy it. One tip that I have learned is when picking young Thai coconuts, I go and get the ones that are in the back of the display, because those are usually the newest ones, and because the store wants to sell what was on the shelf the longest, so they'll push those to the front. So always dig to the back. Now the meat is nice and firm. You can see how firm that is. So you want to go ahead and, you know, crack open the coconut, pour off the water, and get the meat. Now this is 2.5 cups of the coconut meat. And what you can do for the coconut cream is to blend some, if you have more than 2.5 cups out of your 2 coconuts, because I usually get the largest ones that I can find, then you should have enough to make your 1 cup of coconut cream by just blending the rest of the meat with enough of the coconut water until you get a nice cream consistency. Let me try that again. Blend the coconut meat with enough of the coconut water, or just enough of the coconut water, I should say, to get a cream consistency and not milk. You want it to be thick because that's going to help set your cake. Oh, that was easy for me to say. Anyway, moving on. 15 large bejeweled dates. These have been soaked for about 30 minutes. Now altogether, in this cup here I have 5, or in this measuring cup right here I have 5 cups of diced strawberries, and they're fresh. And here is 1 cup of strawberries. And I'll show you what we're going to do with both of these as we continue. But you want to separate out 1 cup from the 5 cups. And to get this quantity of strawberries, I bought 2 1-pound containers of strawberries. We have 2 tablespoons of psyllium powder. This is also going to help your cake to set, and it's also good fiber for you. 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. We're going to need a little pinch of salt, and also vanilla extract. I'm going to be using 2, maybe 3 teaspoons, depending on how it tastes, of the vanilla. Again, if you don't want to use vanilla, you can use vanilla bean. It'll probably take about 2 scraped vanilla beans to get the flavor. And also this is a 1/4 cup of organic pure maple syrup. Now, again, if you are a strict 100% raw vegan, don't use the maple syrup. You may want to go for raw agave nectar. But I like the flavor of the maple syrup, and I'm not 100% raw vegan. I do eat raw vegan about 80 to 90%, so this ingredient is okay for me. Okay, so now to make the filling. All of the ingredients except for the 4 cups of strawberries are going to go into the food processor. I'm going to set these aside for now. And I'm going to pour in maple syrup. Cashews. My coconut meat. Dates. Strawberries. Now this is, like I said, 1 cup of strawberries. Notice out of the frame here. Sorry about that, guys. Coconut oil. The coconut cream. Psyllium powder. And I'm going to measure out 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Oop, it's spilling on me. And a little bit of the sea salt. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and process this until it's smooth but not a puree. And I will show you what I mean when I have the correct consistency. Okay, let's go ahead and check our batter now. This smells so wonderful. And this is the texture of the batter that we're going for. It doesn't have big chunks, but it's not completely pureed either. So this is what we're going for. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take a bowl. And we're going to put the batter in the bowl. But before I do that, I do want to taste this to see if I have enough vanilla in my batter. I'll go ahead and give this a taste here. Yes, there is enough vanilla in the batter. So I'm going to put the batter in the bowl, and then those strawberries that we reserved, they're going to be stirred into the batter. I have all my batter in the bowl now. And before I add in the strawberries, I want to separate out maybe about a 1/4 cup or so to put on top of the cake with the remaining of the crumble for a little decoration. Just maybe about that much. So now I'm ready to put strawberries in the batter. And we're just going to stir in the strawberries. Fresh strawberries always smell so good. Oop. And I'm flinging my strawberries all over the place. Sorry, everybody. Oh boy. Like I said, real life, it's not studio perfection. Okay, now that I have my strawberries well mixed into the batter, I'm going to pour this on top of the crust. And here I have my crust out of the refrigerator. And just pour this right on top. I have my batter all in the pan, so just want to spread this out. Okay, and then you just want to tap the cake on the countertop, try releasing air that might be inside, and get it nice and even. Okay. Now what I like to do is try to smooth the top of the cake, get it nice, smooth, and even, because we're going to be putting the other half of the crumble on top of this, along with the strawberries that we set aside. Okay. Okay, so I'll be back to finish off the cake. I have the crumble and the reserved strawberries. So what we're going to do first is take most of this crumble and just put it on top of the cake, like so. And then smooth this out. Okay. Okay, that should be good. Now we're going to take strawberries and sprinkle these on top. And I just like to try to make sure that they're pretty well distributed. You know, you can be as fussy as you want to be with this. So, okay, we have that. Now we're going to take the rest of our crumble and place it on top. And then just sprinkle that on. Now when you're all done with the top of decorating the cake, it should look like that. Now this is ready to be placed in the freezer. You want to cover it with some saran wrap. Place it in the freezer for at least 8 hours, preferably overnight. Then when you take the cake out of the freezer, you can take the ring off and let it thaw for about 4 hours or so, and then we can enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick mine in the freezer, and I will be back to show you the finished product. Okay, it is the next day. I let my cake sit in the freezer to set overnight. I just took it out, took off the saran wrap, and you can see there's like ice crystals from the condensation with the cake being warm and then placing it in the freezer, which is okay. When it thaws out, it'll melt into the top and it won't affect it at all. So now what we need to do while it's still frozen is to take the ring off of the cake and put it into a cake dish. Let it set out for about 4 to 6 hours until it unthaws, and then you can eat it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the ring off. Okay. And see, and that's why we greased it before. So when you take it off, hardly anything stuck to your ring here. And this is how the cake looks now. So now all we have to do is let it unthaw so we can have a piece and see how it tastes. Okay, I've been letting my cake thaw about 6 hours now, and I do believe that it is thawed enough for us to go ahead and cut and take a little taste. Doesn't that look delicious? Strawberry cake with pecan crumble. And let's just see how good it is. It's really good and creamy. I think you guys, if you make this cake, you're gonna love it. So there you have it, my strawberry cake with pecan crumble. If you guys enjoyed this video and the recipe, please give it a thumbs up. And be sure to share the video with your family and friends. And don't forget to subscribe for new recipes each week. Until next time, bye.